Hi, all. Good morning. I wanted to record the message, and we're continuing in Larry Crane's "Love Yourself," really just kind of summarizing chapters 9 through 13. And the the title um, I came up with, subtitle, whatever you want to call it, is "We are so powerful we can have anything in life simply by making a decision." And really, the biggest decision we can do is to apply unconditional love, because then anything that we could ever desire in the material world, our what we experience, etc., uh, becomes available because it's infinite power. And so we can simply make the decision because when we apply unconditional love, all the negative energy of worry, anxiousness, fear, all the different things of I don't like this, I don't like how this is going, um, dissolve, and all the limited beliefs that you have about yourself that you're not as powerful and creative, the life source of all creation, and you dissolve as well. So your true nature, guys, is if the Spirit of God's in you, which is God, it's the creative ability of all creation. Your true nature is the effortless beingness of God. It is. It doesn't struggle for things. It just decides this is how it's going to be, and I allow myself to have this, and I allow life to be like this, and it's just saying yes to everything. And then when all the limiting beliefs are gone, when you say yes to this is how my life is going to be, it's going to be effortless, abundant, healthy. Um, it is the effortless being of God. It's neutral, it's easy, and it's non-judgmental. Uh, and somehow we've convinced ourselves that by disapproving of others, I don't like this, I say no to that, I say no to this government, this religion, all the things that we've been taught to say no to, which is not neutral and unconditional love. Somehow we've been taught that's correct. Um, when you really understand how life works, your brain might say, okay, that makes sense because I've been taught that that's how life works and that's how God is. God couldn't possibly be all loving and neutral. Yeah, but God is all loving and neutral. It is. And so really you'll find out all you're doing is beating yourself up and adding more energy to something you don't want. And so the biggest decision you could make is applying unconditional love, and then any other decision that you have after it, because all the limiting beliefs are gone, just becomes it is. And so uh, that's why I love going through this book, is because we're experiencing God, and you can experience it immediately, guys. What if you listen to Larry Crane? He says this all the time. Check it for yourself, prove it to yourself. I love this because it's unconditional love is the infinite power that's above all other energies of God, and so uh, you can experience God immediately versus having a Bible study. Um, it's you can never really get to it, because if you think you need to study about God to have more of God, which is kind of what I was taught, get into the Word, not realizing Word is the bar. It's the release of the seed of God, which is the Word. Has nothing to do with a book. It was never a book. Even the writers never put it into a book until the fourth century, until Constantine said, "Make a book." And then we, for thousands of years, said, this is the word of God. And it's not. The word of God is the release of the energy of God that has the creative ability in the seed itself, the bar, the let, the doorway, the nature of the Father, Son, bar coming out. And so, anyway, it's uh, what comes out of the doorway, the release carries the nature of the Father, the creative ability of God. And so, um, in chapter 9, he says a couple things. He says, this simple exercise will help you practice loving yourself. At the top of the paper, write the word happy. Beside the word happy, write positive, loving, successful, and abundant. When you're happy, you're positive. When you're positive, you're loving. When you're loving, you're successful. And when you're successful, you have abundance. It's all the same energy, except we put it in different words. Now, 2 pages over, it just says this. It says, life is just a decision. I'm going to share something I think is pretty powerful here right after this. It's a decision to love yourself. It's a decision to beat yourself up. It's a decision to be rich. It's a decision to be poor. It's a decision. Well, it's a uh, tongue twister for me. It's a decision to be healthy or be sick. It's all a decision. Who is it that's making that decision? It's you. You are. And so this is what I heard. Uh, I heard some writers and teachers that I really respect. And I don't like to say names and different things like that because everybody, you don't need anything more. I just enjoy listening to it. A lot of times when I'm doing other work, I'm listening to things, and there's certain things that just hit you like, wow, that's true. And they said this. They said, you, the true you, the Spirit of God in you, the effortless beingness of God is bigger than death. And like as Christians, of course, we would say, yeah, of course, because we have eternal life. But it just struck me. It was like the real you is not even affected by death. It's just an experience. So if the real you is not even affected by death, you're bigger than death. Then aren't you bigger than what you're currently thinking and feeling? Of course you are. Meaning that you created you. It's an interesting thing. The creative ability of God in us created us and allows us to experience thoughts and feelings. So we obviously are bigger than those thoughts and feelings. And we can choose to every time make a decision to go, if if saying no and being negative and judgmental is not bringing me health, it's not bringing me abundance, it's not bringing me loving relationships, then it would be smart of me to decide to be loving. And it really is true. It's just life is just a decision. It's a decision to love yourself. It's a decision to beat yourself up. It's a decision whether you want to be rich or poor. So doesn't it make sense to decide from this day forward, I'm going to be abundant. I'm going to be rich. It's a decision to be healthy or sick. It's not what you do or don't do, guys. This is where people get confused. If I do all these things and have all these diets and do all these things, then I'll be healthy. They're typically not because they're back of their mind, they're holding, if I don't do this, um, I'm going to experience being unhealthy. And as you know, the mind is only creative. So they're holding in mind what they don't want to be unhealthy. Where if you go, I am healthy, that's the decision I'm going to make. I do have loving relationships. That decision I'm going to make. And I'll kind of walk you through really all these exercises. Um, I've just kind of summarized for you to make it easy. And so happy, positive, loving, successful, abundant, all just a decision. Healthy, sick, just a decision. Rich, poor, just a decision. Where does it really come? If I if all of that comes from simply by saying yes and applying love to where every other place I've been judgmental and saying no, I don't like this, I don't like that person, I don't like how my life is, I don't like my current financial situation, I don't like my government, I don't like this party, I don't like that religion, all the things that we're saying no to. We're just beating ourselves up. And me included. I'm not taking myself out of that. So like I said, is somehow we've convinced ourselves that being judgmental, applying negative energy can produce something positive. No, energy is equivalent to the material world times a constant, E equals MC squared. The the speed of light squared, it's such an enormous power that we have, guys. That's why I said you're more powerful than you think. We can just make a decision. And so here's what's really cool about this. If you make a decision from this day forward, I am healthy, I am abundant, and I have loving relationships. When you walk through the process of unconditional love, as I'll walk you through, which he does here as well, you do several things. You let go of all the limiting beliefs where you've held yourself back by not enjoying unconditional love. All that's gone, all the, as he says, all the I can'ts. When you get rid of the I can'ts, you naturally I can. And you don't have to have faith. In fact, you can even doubt it. We're just asking you to go through it, where he says, prove it to yourself. Just go through the exercise. See if it doesn't work almost immediately. It has to. It's the infinite power of God. And so that's where I just said, you're so much more powerful than you think. If you're more powerful than death is you're bigger than that. It doesn't even affect you, the real you, the effortless beingness of God. So yeah, it's just an experience. Then everything else is just an experience. It has to be. And so all it really is I would do this is just make a decision. Life is just a decision. I'm going to read that again. It's a decision to love yourself. It's a decision to beat yourself up. And all that is saying, no, I don't like this. I don't like me. It's a decision to be rich. It's a decision to be poor. It's a decision to be healthy. It's a decision to be sick. Who's making that decision? The effortless beingness of God. You are making that decision. The effortless beingness of God, you are making that decision. You're so powerful, you can make that decision. So I would just say, um, right now, just go, this is what I decide I'm going to have my life look like from this day forward. Now, A lot of you guys won't even want to write that down because there's so much resistance in there. But that's why I said you don't have to have faith on this. It'll work almost immediately. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel more free. You'll start to experience the effortless beingness of God where you just decide, I think this is how it's going to be. And every atom in the universe moves to fulfill that because you're applying the infinite power, which affects every atom in the universe. So when you apply unconditional love, which is the highest power, every atom in the universe is affected. People are like, well, there's other people involved. Right. And unconditional love is the highest power. They experience it and feel it where every atom in the universe moves to fulfill that. So I would just write it down. I allow myself, let's just say, let's just work on health right now. I allow myself to be perfectly vibrant and healthy. Now, if you've been given a diagnosis, if you're if you've read a lot of stuff like this causes this and this does this to your health and all this, those are limiting beliefs. They all are. They have to be because they're less than the infinite presence of God. So just I allow myself to be effortlessly and divinely healthy and just read it to yourself. Now, just he calls it uh, what is your now feeling about this? He says there'll be a contraction if you say, if you're not experiencing effortless health, if you're not experiencing effortless abundance, if you're not experiencing effortlessly loving relationships, when you say, I allow myself to have effortless health, I allow myself to be effortlessly abundant, I allow myself to have beautiful, loving relationships. If that's not your current experience, you're going to feel a contraction here. That's normal. That's okay. The cool part is when you go through this exercise, it removes all of that. So I allow myself to be perfectly vibrant and healthy. Just what is your now feeling? It'll be a contraction. It'll be some thought or feeling that says, I can't have this right now. This isn't real. And all you're going to do is apply unconditional love to that thought or feeling, which is simply say yes to it. Could you say yes to that feeling, that anxiousness, that contraction, that worry you have about your health? Could you just say yes to that worry some more? And could you say yes to it some more and a little bit more? And just apply that unconditional love by saying yes just a little bit more. I say yes to that. It's okay for that feeling to be there. I just say yes to it some more. And I just say yes to that feeling some more. And I just say yes to that feeling some more. And I just say yes to that feeling some more. Same thing with abundance. Could you just say yes to allowing yourself to be effortlessly abundant? I just say yes to that contracted feeling, that doubt, that anxiety that is not true. I just say yes to that now feeling right now. Whatever I feel, that negative contraction I have about it, just say yes to it. Don't try to push that feeling away. Just say yes to it. I'm going to love this feeling and allow it to be there exactly how it is. And I just say yes to it some more. And just get in touch with that feeling. And I just say yes to it some more. And could you say yes to it some more? When you apply unconditional love, guys, within minutes, you'll feel better. You'll feel more effortless. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel more free. There won't be so much resistance of I allow myself to be effortlessly abundant. I allow myself to have uh, divine health. I allow myself to have loving relationships. There's nothing pushing back on that when you apply unconditional love. It releases all those negative beliefs and limited beliefs you have about yourself that are non-loving. And then you can just simply make a decision that you're going to be abundant. You're going to be healthy. And could you just say yes to allowing the effortless being that you are? Could you just say yes to every atom in the universe moving to love and fulfill you? I just say yes to it. And could you just say yes to your abundance some more? And could you say yes to your health some more? And could you say yes to your loving relationship some more? And just say yes to you some more. And since you can make the decision, does it make sense for you to allow the effortless beingness of God, the I am of God, the infinite power of God? Could you just say yes to that some more to bring you life exactly how you want it? It's just a decision. I just say yes to that some more. And I just say yes to allowing the effortless beingness of God to bring me exactly life how I want it some more. And I just say yes some more. So really all you're doing is you're checking the now feeling, releasing anything that says you can't have or you are not what you decide you would like to be. Let all that negative energy, those limiting beliefs dissolve by saying yes and unconditionally loving those. And then when you say yes and unconditionally love, I decide to be abundant, there's nothing that's pushing back on that. And effortless beingness of God, I just make a decision. This is who I am. It's the power of God. The true infinite power of God is even bigger than death. So I can just make a decision that I can choose to experience and feel and think about loving things in life exactly how I want it. It's a decision. I can do it. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Is You're more powerful than you think. You simply make a decision to love, and then you can make a decision to have life exactly how you want it.